So Willie and I are in the New York right now, surviving this blizzard. I know this is going to come out later, but it's pretty rough out there.
Yeah.
I got out of there on Saturday. I got very lucky.
I was doing a cold open, but that's okay.
Yeah, we're just in the middle of a
you're doing a
cold
cold
open.
open?
So
Oh, sorry.
we'll get back to you.
Wait, hang on. Welcome to another SmartLess.
Smart. Less. Smart. Less. Smart. Less.
I never saw Field of Dreams.
Huh.
Yeah, and Scotty put it up, and he's like, I was like, yeah, let's watch this. I never saw, like, it's, yeah. Have you've seen
And
it?
did,
yeah?
well, hang on.
Yeah.
And did you? So he built it. You came.
Really
and,
nice, Jason.
What did you?
Bravo.
What did you think of it, Sean?
I thought it was so good. I thought the tone was really good. I thought.
Don't need a detailed review.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was. First of all, I didn't know what it was. I mean, I've seen clips of it like over the decades, so I kind of had an idea, and I've of course known the phrase "build it and he will come," whatever. But
I'm
I
not
never.
sure I've ever seen it.
We gotta watch it. It's really, really.
Well, you'd
good.
watch it for a second time.
I would.
Wow.
Watch it. Have him over to your theater, JB.
Yeah,
You guys
come
can
on
watch
over.
it.
So you've never
together.
seen it, Jason?
I don't think I have. No. I don't know if I've ever seen Major League, and I don't know if
Never
I've ever
seen that
seen
either.
Bull Durham. And
Bull
I'm like
Durham's
a huge
excellent.
baseball
Well, this
nut,
is
and
you're a baseball crazy person.
I know I've seen The Natural a bunch
Bull
of
Durham
times.
is excellent.
Yeah,
I've never seen any of
I
those.
love Bull Durham.
Maybe I'll just see little clips of it on social media. You know?
Yeah, and then just piece it
Oh,
together.
that's a good way to do it. Like my kids do, like kind of 20 seconds at a time.
Yeah, this is the way
Yeah.
the kids are eating
What do you
stuff
guys
up
think
nowadays.
about? What do you guys think about that? They're making those little clips now. Isn't there like 1 minute episodes now of stuff? Have you heard about this?
Is it maybe on Tubi? Do I have Tubi?
You do currently
No,
have
but you
Tubi.
guys,
Yeah.
does anybody know about this?
Quibi.
They're-
Quibi was the
Quibi was the first thing, but then that didn't work out for whatever reason.
So there's
and
little
now
1
they're
minute episodes of stuff.
Yeah, and now that's what I read, that it's really picking up on TikTok, and they'll do like a whole season is 5 minutes,
Really?
and each episode is like a minute or 2 minutes.
Must be riveting.
Well,
You haven't heard about that?
That can't be a good thing.
I actually haven't. I have not heard of it. Yeah,
Michael
go ahead.
Bennett, Rob, have you heard about that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
called Verticals.
Well,
Verticals.
Rob, first of all, take the judgment out of your voice when you say, "Oh yeah."
We need to work on our attention span, all of us on this planet, right?
I know.
I think we need to watch stuff that's longer. I think that's been. I was reading
Longer,
something saying
slower.
Everybody
Yeah,
watch
that-
Field of Dreams. It's really
that
good.
all the tech billionaires
Yeah.
they really limit their kids' access to short form stuff because they realize that there's studies that show it has a direct impact on kids' attention spans.
and totally.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Well, listen, this is helpful then today, because what I've got with us today is somebody who might be able to opine on some of these things and give us a look around the corner a little bit for what might be coming. With us today
Yeah.
is a leader of an empire.
Ooh.
She has
like
launched
that.
and is the guiding force behind at least 10 companies by my count, which have generated dollars in the billions, I'm sure. Her business skills and know-how are matched only by her media savvy and cultural instincts. Her abilities as a manager and a parent, however, is where it all started. Here to tell us how on earth she does it and where it all goes from here is the one, the only, Kris Jenner.
Oh, look at
Kris
Hey, guys.
Jenner.
I am very excited that
Look
you are
at
with us today. I've wanted you on the show for, very, very long time. I've been afraid
Very
to ask.
exciting.
We're travel buddies. We go on vacation together.
We are a little
Jason
bit.
and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that true?
And
Just a
Amanda.
teensy-weensy,
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We kind of plan it, but it's an accident.
Yeah.
So I'll let you
Yeah.
guys figure that one out.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just
Yeah.
fascinating to talk to. And I'm really, really happy you're with us today. So,
Thank you.
All right, let me just could you? There's no way you could imagine that your adult life would be here where we are now. I would imagine. What did you think you were going to be when you grew up? What was there an early idea, plan, goal, dream?
A mom.
Yeah, really.
Oh, really?
I used to dream about being a mom. When I was 16, I decided I wanted 6 kids.
No way.
And yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean,
Nailed
that
it.
was sort of embedded in my head that was my my magical number, and that's what I wanted to do with my life. And I couldn't wait to be a mom and have my first baby. And I had my first baby. I got pregnant when I was 22.
Yeah.
And I met Robert Kardashian when I was 17.
How and where? Is it a meet cute?
We met at the racetrack in Del Mar.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah. And I wasn't old enough to bet. So I had to stand to the side while my girlfriend's mom placed our bets for like $2. And I was so excited and I was all dressed up. And I was standing there and he came up to me and said, what's your name? And I told him, and he was a little cheeky, and I was really annoyed. Like, you're a stranger, go away. And, the world was a much different place. Like, you trusted people. But there was also no way to contact somebody unless you had their phone number and you were standing by your phone in the kitchen to receive the phone call.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was a weird world. The best times of my life. But
You couldn't snap one another, you mean?
Yeah.
no, there was
What's your
no
snap?
internet, no phone, no cell phones, no computer, no iPod, none of it, no technology.
Right.
And so he asked me for my name and I gave it to him. And he asked me for my number and I didn't give it to him. But his best friend, this girl, worked at the phone company.
I knew you were going to say that. It's like every story from back then had to be like, I knew somebody at the phone company.
Right.
That's the only way.
Right. And they looked at my name and there was my phone number. I mean,
Oh my
listen,
God.
every
It's kind
year.
of a romantic sort of like, he just
He
stuck with
pursued
it.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Stalker romantic.
But wait, I want to get back to the racetrack. So wait, you like,
Yeah.
I've been there a
the
couple
Del
of
Mar
times.
racetrack.
It's a very unique environment, any racetrack. It's
Right?
so kind of fun. Did you know what you were doing, or were you just like, oh, that's a fun name? Let's pick that horse.
No, I had no idea what I was doing.
You weren't watching them warm up.
No idea.
You didn't know what horses were good
No.
muckers.
Well, we walked around looking like we knew what we were doing, but we were just, probably, it's so visual.
Yeah.
Like going to the racetrack in the 70s was like the hats and the suits and the beauty and the horses and
was an event.
Everyone's got a cocktail. And I mean, it was very grown up. And
Still kind of is, right? At the Kentucky Derby, still like a big glamorous thing. Have you been there?
It was California's Kentucky. I have been once with Kim.
Yeah.
And we went to the races. We were supposed to go out afterwards with a bunch of people and have to the party that they give afterwards. And I was drinking these things called a Mint Julip
Right.
Yeah.
in a little
of course.
tin cup. And Kim didn't even drink in those days. She still doesn't really drink, but I did.
Yeah.
And I had too many, and I said, I got to go to bed. I'm too tired.
They're
I
too
can't
tasty.
do this.
I think I remember those things.
Yeah.
Real
So I
good.
just went to sleep.
Did you go, JB? Did you go to
I've never been to the Kentucky Derby, no, but
Really?
I met a mint julep once.
I got to say, I'm really taken with, I want to go back to the phone company and the time to know you couldn't get in touch with anybody and the magic of Del Mar back then. And everybody wasn't in touch with each other all the time. And you could go and do something like that. And you weren't bothered by your other life. You were just there. You were where you were. And I'm really taken with that idea. I'm like,
There weren't even answering machines back then.
not really. I mean,
No, there was no answering machine.
You
And
either had to be home or not. Yeah.
and
does
it
that
was,
sound glorious?
there wasn't any kind of I mean, I don't think there was a show like Entertainment Tonight or any of the the shows like that. And the Del Mar races sounded so glamorous.
Yeah.
Right.
And my mom used to go. And I used to watch my mom when I was a little girl walk out the door in her beautiful dress and her big hat going with her friends.
Yeah.
And when she was single, or when she met my stepdad, going with my stepdad, and we're going to the races. And it sounded so like, what? You're going to the horse races?
Right.
And you only saw horse races in the movies. Like you would see a
Super
scene
glamorous.
like that. And I was like going to this glamorous thing.
I would go to the grocery store with my mom, and we'd go shopping. And after we checked out, she would stop at this counter and buy racehorse tickets to then go watch at home to see if her
Really?
number
TV.
went. Yeah, and I'm like,
I didn't
we
know
could
you could
barely
do
afford
that.
peanut butter, and she's like buying, gambling on the way out the door.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we
That's
watched the
wild.
racetracks at race things at home.
Races.
Yeah.
I didn't know you
Races.
could do
So she
that.
always kept an eye on the horses.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever do the lotto? Like, do you go for the Mega Millions?
A couple of times I've done it. Yeah, there's. I mean, gambling is. I used to have a bit of a fun time with gambling. I no longer do, but it is.
Okay.
It's still something
love
that
it.
sort of like lives a little
Well,
bit. Shawnee, you just went to Vegas, right?
Yeah,
Sean loves it, but I will say this. A friend of mine said to me recently, I love this idea. He said, yeah, I buy, when the Mega Million or whatever it is hits like $1 billion, it's like, I end up buying a couple tickets. I said, really? He seemed like the most unlikely, my buddy Clay. And I go, really? You buy that lotto ticket? And he goes, yeah, you know why I buy it? I buy it for that 5 minutes after I've bought it and I'm in the car.
Yeah.
And that feeling is just as good as winning.
What would I do?
Just
Yes.
getting that feeling.
Yeah, like
Because
Yes.
it's only about the feeling.
That's
Because the
right.
money and whatever, sure. But it's the feeling that we're after.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
enjoy that feeling.
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
that's a good way
I
to
think
live.
it's
That's
funny that people
interesting.
go
Yeah, is
like.
that
I
cool?
think
It's a
it's funny
rush.
that there's
Yeah.
people that line up the street to buy $1 billion lottery ticket, but not a $50 million ticket. Like
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not enough.
I'm not
gonna
going to
do it
line up
for
for
me.
50.
Do you know what I mean? 50? No, I'll wait till it gets to $1 billion.
Didn't I just read somewhere that AI now can really help your number picking? Like
Stop.
You can like
Really?
go on like some of these AI
really?
things and say, give me the numbers that are going to win the lottery this weekend, and they'll actually give you some that get pretty close. Apparently.
Wow. Well, you could, like, if it's $1 billion, you could win $100 million if you
Yeah,
have a
that'll do
couple
it.
numbers, right?
Yeah.
Do it.
Maybe.
Just two numbers. Yeah.
Now talking about your mom and your stepdad, was your stepdad? You know, realize very quickly this is not hard hitting journalism here. I think
Okay.
A stepdad was a businessman, perhaps.
No, my stepdad was actually, he had two businesses. My stepdad, my uncle had a car dealership, and my stepdad would have a kit, and he would go to the car dealership and stripe the cars. Oh. Anybody
Give
old
it a little
enough
bit
to
of
remember
flair?
that phase?
Yeah, give it like a line.
You take it's like a tape.
like a pinstripe or something.
Like a pinstripe. You pinstriped a car in a couple of hours. And in those days, it was done with a very thin tape.
Right.
Yes.
And my dad was San Diego's premier car
way.
taper.
And would it
Really?
just be a piece of tape on the car?
Yeah.
And it wouldn't just come off?
Yeah, like
Nope.
like Starsky and Hutch. You know
I had
that
one.
like that big
Yeah.
like
Yes,
Nike swoosh. on it.
exactly.
Yeah.
I had one of my old Chevy Tahoe 25 years ago because it came with a thin orange and I didn't like it. So I went to a guy and he put a thin blue over it.
That's
Wow,
right.
and it just made all the difference.
That's right.
I don't know
It's
what
the
you were
same
doing
thing.
messing around with Chevy. I mean, you should have been a GMC.
This is pre-GMC days.
Did
This
you
is
not
very
like professional grade
They're
back
made-
then?
I do. I love professional grade. I love everything in the GM family.
So he did that. And then he also was a guy who had a company that put antennas on the roof.
okay.
Really?
But he actually did it. Like he had a few guys that work for him.
Yeah.
So if you bought a TV,
Yeah.
I remember we got our first color TV, and then he would have a company that, advertised and came out
Right.
and put your antenna on your
The
roof.
rabbit ears up on the roof. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha. So, but I get my question behind the question is where.
So I guess he was a business smart.
Right.
He made
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
Did that start to? How early did the business interest in you get sparked? That entrepreneurial sort of creative kind of what could I get into next kind of thing?
Oh, that came from my grandmother and my mother. So my grandmother and my mother both had their own stores in La Jolla, California.
Right.
And I grew up in San Diego and then La Jolla. And my mom still lives there to this day. She's 90, almost 92. But she had, her last store that she had was a children's store, 45 years, called Shannon and Company. Her last name is Shannon.
Yeah.
And my grandmother had a candle store called the Candles of La Jolla. So basically, when I was 12 years old, instead of going to the La Jolla shores to learn how to surf with all my friends, I was going to my grandmother's candle store and working. And the first job I had, I was the gift wrapper. So my grandmother
fun,
taught
isn't
me. It was the best.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm the best gift wrapper.
Are you really?
Yeah,
Ever.
I like it. I
watched
kinda
those
like it.
videos of the Japanese people.
I saw
doing
that
incredible-
too.
Yeah, and I'm trying to emulate. I'm the worst rapper.
Obsessed.
I saw
At
that.
Christmas, I realized I'm the worst.
I love it.
Wait,
Yeah.
so Kris, do you have like incredible techniques about like hiding edges and curling seams?
Yes.
And like,
yes.
yeah.
Oh,
Really?
and I do like one day I learned how to use the ribbon maker, the bow maker machine. So I got really good at bows. And so I have these hidden talents. Like they say we have no talent. Oh, I've got talent. Yeah.
have
I've
a-
got some great gift wrapping
Do you
talent.
have a wrapping room at the house?
I do.
The
gift wrap
I have a
room.
friend
Yeah.
that has a
Yes.
wrapping room. She's
With rolls
just,
of wrapping paper and drawers of
love it.
tissue, and it's very exciting.
Chris, can you look at a gift or something you want to wrap, and can you just eyeball it and go, I know exactly how much paper I need for that?
I used to a little bit better. Now I've, I if I really get confused over a gift, I just cellophane it and put a bow on it, call it a day.
Yeah.
And it's so cute.
Throw it in a
cellophane will
bag.
help you avoid those terrible paper cuts.
That's right.
Paper cuts you can get from wrapping gifts.
That's right.
yeah.
But I love those videos from Japan.
I know
They're so
so
fabulous.
crisp and like
Amazing.
OCD. So wait, Chris.
Right.
So after you learned some business while you were rapping. You're like, wait, how did that work? And how did that?
Well, your
kind of-
mom and your grandma were great business inspiration
Right.
for you, yeah? Yeah.
So I think, listen, when you're young and you see my mother at the time was a single mom, and my grandmother and my grandfather lived across the street, and my grandmother helped raise me. So when you see the two most important people in your life at the time, my grandmother and my mom, get up and get dressed to the nines and go to work every day and get there at 9 o'clock and have a routine and have a business and pay the bills. And they were so proud of their businesses and how they ran them. I worked for both of them on and off. And I learned a lot in those days. I finally graduated to being on the floor with customers. Then I graduated to the cash register.
right.
And I just learned a lot. Those were some of the best learning years of my life because I learned so much about. And then from there, I became a stewardess for American Airlines, and I was a flight attendant. And when I was a flight attendant, that gave me great social intelligence, social skills.
I didn't know you were a flight attendant.
Learning how to run a team.
Yeah.
And just like some really interesting things that were very valuable at a very young age.
My mom did that for like 30 years with Pan Am. And
She
it was-
did?
Yeah. It was the coolest thing for me as a kid, just flying around the world kind of, in the back with my little suit on, because I had to,
Oh
you
my
had to dress
God.
up for the free tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still fly Pan Am, don't you, Jay?
Yeah, I can't, they keep getting canceled, these
And he
flights.
still fits in that. He still fits in that suit.
Yeah.
You guys.
It sounds like the thing is at the heart of it is like this. You've had this consistent work ethic.
I've
That's,
learned, yeah.
that's super strong.
I'm really proud of what they taught me and what I was able to absorb. But then even more importantly, how I raised my kids and what they were able to learn from the whole experience and how they were raised and it was always, my kids joke and they say to me, Mom, during the summer, or they'll tell a story and they'll go, my mom during the summer when we were it's supposed to be on vacation, my mom, in the old days, like the 90s or the 80s, we used to have a landline. And
Yeah.
on the landline, as we became more successful and had more opportunities, the stuff in the house got better. The TVs got bigger, the phones got more complicated, and we used to have this
Wireless.
intercom system on the phone.
Yeah.
So you'd have a big landline phone
Right.
sitting
A ton of
next to all
buttons and-
these
yeah.
counters and all the buttons, and there was a thing. And Chloe always tells the story. My mom used to intercom the whole house. It's
Yeah.
7 a.m. Time to get up, make your beds. And so I raised my kids like that. Like, no,
world's
we're
out
not
there. Go get
laying
it.
in bed. Life is happening. Get up. We've got
I
stuff
love
to
that.
do.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Me too.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
really
that too.
cool.
Yeah.
Wait, so what happened after the candle thing and working in that store, and what was the kind of the next venture for you after that made you want to propel further into being a businesswoman?
I worked there. Then I worked at a boutique in La Jolla for a friend and then for my mom. And I loved having structure in my life. I've loved having something to do and to get dressed for. And my mother and my grandmother always told me that it was so important to present myself to the world in a way that I wanted to be. Like, look your best, be on your best behavior. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. You know, really good manners.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say, you gotta. For me, like I've got to believe it before I can expect anyone else to believe it. So you gotta get out there and look like where you want to go.
That's exactly right. And surround, couple things. So then I went and I applied to be a flight attendant, Sean, to answer that question. Yes. And then from there, I got married to Robert Kardashian. So that's and then I started having kids. So that's the Reader's Digest version.
Which was the real job.
Which is, the kids and the being a mom. That was at a very young age. But, along the way, the one thing you guys can probably relate to or think about, or your, listeners can think about, is my mother-in-law was the first one. Now it's, a mantra in our house. But my mother-in-law, Nana, was always saying, Robert, to her son, Robert, show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are. And she used to just gripe at all of us about if she thought anybody around us was shady or dishonest or a little creepy or, anything off. She was, because I met her and Robert at such a young age, he was 12 years older than I was. Yeah. But I just learned so much because then I had this whole Armenian family surrounding me that I'd never had a big family. I had one sister. So, and my mom was divorced for the longest time until she met my dad and then got married when I was 13. But a lot of my life, it was me, my mom, and my sister. So having this big Armenian family around me was it was so amazing. And some of the things I learned, I let it all soak in. I was like a sponge. Yeah. I was like, I love having all these people watching out for me because they met me so young. And they were helping me grow up.
Right. Yeah. Right. A big community. Yeah.
That's so great.
Go ahead, Shani.
No, I was just going to say, I was just going to share one of my first jobs was at a furniture store in downtown Glen Ellen, and I had to answer the phones. And all I did all day long was call my friend Sherry in Arizona, and then the bills would come, and their phone bill was like hundreds of dollars, which was huge back then, like probably like $1,000. And
it's
the guy
now.
who owned, the guy would come in and be like, "Who are you calling in Arizona?" I was like, "That's my sister." Just trying to be in touch, but it was my best friend, and I got in so much, and then I got fired because of that.
Oh my God!
That's my story. That's my story. My first job.
I love that story.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm just trying to look on the chart of where I'm going to put that.
You know what? One of my first jobs.
Yeah.
The things that we will do. One of my first jobs, I was really wanting to do something. I mean, this is how I guess. I don't know. Motivated I must have been to make some money. But because my mom, it wasn't like she was, passing out money to buy clothes. And we were getting to the age where we really loved clothes and we wanted to buy things and we were teenagers and all of it. And so I got a job up the street from my house that I could then get on the school bus and get to middle school or high school. And it was at a donut shop. And my job was to take a glaze scraper and scrape the glaze off of the floor. And they would give me free, a little money and some free donut holes every morning. Wow. And I was the best glaze scraper I think in San Diego. Pretty sure.
Sean, how lost are you in this story?
He's trying to figure out if it's a bad job. He
like,
can't decide whether it's a bad job.
This is a job? This is my calling.
You guys are going to ruin my makeup. I can't.
I'll eat the glaze off the floor. I mean, that's incredible.
They didn't need the
free donut holes. Guys,
this is my friend
was
Sean.
Sean's volunteering for any sort of glaze scraping in any part of the room.
So if you ever need anybody who, listen, these skills somehow,
Yeah.
worked for me later in life. I don't know. Go figure.
Yeah.
And we will be right back.
And now back to the show.
What would you say to these young people that are going off to business school and they're killing themselves trying to like top business schools and learn all the business stuff that one needs to like? Where would you? What size would you put that sort of like the traditional business
Good question.
structured? In today's society
Yeah.
and climate for business success.
Wow.
The nuts and the bolts of it, because
I'm going to get in trouble here because I did not go to college.
That's okay.
And that wasn't important to me because I wasn't the most amazing, like I didn't love school because I was social. Does that make sense? I love I love the socialization of it. I think, some of my kids have been trying to decide, do we want to just do homeschool? Do we love, this kind of school, like as the kids get older? And Kendall and Kylie, my two youngest, went to homeschool the last year of their high school years, and then they graduated. But it wasn't this, it's always been for us for me about socialization and making sure that obviously I have a good education and I know my ABCs. Yeah. And, I'm a smart cookie and I love to learn and I soak it all in. Yeah. But everyone learns differently.
There's so many
and I think
options
that's what's
now.
interesting. And so I think the options out there are so vast. However, it really, you have to follow your heart, but it's also what do you want to go into? Some rule of thumb and thought of some parents and kids alike and people in general is that if you get that education under your belt, then that's your safety net. Like that, then you can go forward in your life and now you're set with you have your tool belt on and you can go out there and do various things. And I love that too. My son went to USC, Kim went to college for maybe a couple weeks and, Courtney graduated from college and, half of my kids did it and half of my kids didn't. Yeah. So it's a mixed bag for me. But I think it really depends on if you want to be a doctor or a physician of any kind, a surgeon,
lawyer,
medical
stuff
field,
like that. You
attorney, lawyer.
Certain credentials,
That's necessary.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's just going to be what you're, follow your heart. What is it that that gets you excited about life and what you want to do with your career?
And start sooner than later.
Yeah.
It's fun. I'm going through, JB, you went through it with your eldest, and I'm kind of going through it now with my teenage boys because they're at that point where they're looking at colleges and we're going to do a college tour at spring break. And I keep sort of saying to them, there's a pressure not just from the parents, but you can feel it from the peer group as everybody's talking about it. So it builds up this kind of frenzy about where to go and all this sort of stuff.
Right.
And I said, look.
Having to decide what you're going to do as an adult.
And I go, you know what, man? Any one of these places, you're pretty much guaranteed of getting a really good education. You've got to decide what you want your experience to be.
Right.
What you want your life experience to be.
So true.
Right? And don't... I urge you not to get caught up in that, and I'm really, and I think it's kind of landing because I see these kids and they're getting so wrapped up in it.
Yeah, life will narrow you like real quick soon anyway.
Yeah,
like, you keep
JB,
your experience.
You
Interesting.
go to
mind
college.
opens.
I dropped out of college after one semester because I was like,
You did?
Yeah, for me, I went, you know what? This is not. I looked around at all my peers, my friends and kids I'd grown up with, and I said, this is not where I'm going. I want to go over here, and I want to jump into life, and I moved to New York at age 20.
But what it did for me, I went for 4 years and never graduated, but still got a doctorate. But anyway,
boy.
Wait, we want the recipe for that.
from the furniture store?
No, but what it did for me was what it does for a lot of kids is it gets you out of the house. That's it. And you get out of the house and you're with your peers in a totally different setting and you find out who you are.
New
right?
horizons.
New horizons. And yes, academics aside, socially what it did for me was I was like, oh, I found my I found my people, and I
Sean,
found,
you know what's funny about that? Like JB, you were working as a young kid. You were already working as an actress. So you were already sort of socializing. You were already doing that. You were out of the house in effect.
with your peers.
I'd gone to boarding school at age 12, so I was already out. Like I'd already gone. You know what I mean? So
that was like an early college boarding school. Probably.
Yeah.
I should have studied something to fall back on.
See, I think that's important to note, though. I think that everyone, and I really believe that everybody needs structure and a purpose.
That's what it is. That's what
and
it
a
is.
community and socialization. All of that I love about school. And if you're not ready to jump off the diving board into the pool with no water in it, so to speak, because you don't know what you're going to do, then that's probably a great decision. Because then you'll figure it out.
Yeah, because I went to college knowing I was going to study music.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I had a purpose.
Yeah.
But you're
Exactly.
right. You're right,
Yeah.
Kris, about what you said. Is like if you don't. I love that. If you're diving into a pool with no water, there's no reason.
No, and Sean, the music that you studied, it did help you. What has been a big part
it's
of what you
focused,
do.
yeah.
Well, yeah, no, but continuing on, and like you wouldn't have done Goodnight Oscar
all of it.
at the Tabasco.
What a show!
This is a program. But had you not done that, you wouldn't have had the skill to do that, right? So
Totally. And one thing leads to another. But I'm lucky, like we're all lucky, the four of us talking right now, and there's many people that we know that are lucky, that if you have a passion inside of you early on, as a kid, and you know what you love to do, the earlier you know what you love to do, the more success you're likely to have later.
1,000%. And it's like Jason said, he had a direction.
Yeah.
Like he knew that's what he wanted to do. So why I'm over here with, all my energy needs to go to my dream.
Right.
And in order to accomplish my dreams, it needs incredible focus and dedication to this. It doesn't mean you're, sitting at home playing video games, doing nothing.
No, and you need to pay the rent too, right, JB?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
You got to keep the lights on.
So wait, so Kris, so then talk to me about Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Like, how did it start? What did it do for you? Were you apprehensive about doing it because you're like, oh my God, there's cameras? Like what? And what was your perception of beginning the show? And when did it start to change?
Yeah, and is the story right where Ryan Seacrest started talking to you about this perhaps, and on the heels of the Osbournes getting a lot of traction, and is the timing right? Do I have that right? No.
Right. So I think a lot of people talk to me and a couple of my older kids from time to time, but always, for years had said to me, your family, you've got to do a reality show. Nobody would believe what goes on in this life
Today's
of yours.
Brady Bunch.
Right.
And it was just, you couldn't make any of it up. And so I eventually decided to create this show in my mind, and it kind of lived up there for a while. And then I remember we had been approached by a company years ago, and they thought it was a good idea. And my best friend was living in New York, and she was doing a talk show, Kathy Lee Gifford, and Kathy would go, you guys, she was Kendall and Kylie's godmother. And she would, when they were born, and she would always go, oh my God, you guys are wild. This is crazy. And she'd come visit and think, people have got to see what's going on. And I just thought it was normal.
Right.
I thought I'm living the life.
Right.
And one night, this girl, Dina Katz, came over to my house, and she's the casting director for many shows, amongst them Dancing with the Stars and things like that.
Yeah.
And she's close friends with Ryan Seacrest. So she came over, and she couldn't believe what was happening in my house on like a Tuesday.
Wait, what's going on
for
over
spaghetti.
For spaghetti, yeah.
What was going on over
just the people that would call or stop by, just a lot of,
Just fun, right?
celebrity interaction and drama and just wild. It was just extraordinary.
Yeah.
And she would listen to my life and think it was, wild. And so she said, I'm going to present this to Ryan Seacrest. So the next day, I spoke to Ryan's team and went in for a meeting a couple days later. They had just signed a production deal with
Right.
and NBC, Comcast. And they then, Ryan presented it to the network. They picked it up, and 30 days later, we were shooting Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So it happened really fast.
Well,
For me,
what was the conversation like with the kids? Like, did it take? Did you have to twist any arms, or were they excited about the idea? Or
listen, at that point, and I mean, to this day, I'm still their manager. But at the time, I was nobody's manager. Courtney and I were working in our clothing store called Smooch, and the girls had a store called Dash nearby in Calabasas. And it was, I just said, family, I have this opportunity and this is what I want us to do. And everybody said, okay. I'm not going to lie. Courtney kind of looked at me sideways like, Mom. And I'm like, Courtney, we can sell more T-shirts. Imagine this show's in, it's a global network. It'll air in 200 countries. Why not? I saw an opportunity, and it was just something that I wanted to do because it was also going to help me keep the lights on. Yeah. If I'm being honest, it was like income. Yeah. And Kendall and Kylie were 9 and 10.
Wow.
Kylie was 9 years old.
That's amazing.
Kendall was 10. And I told them what was happening. And I said, guys, you don't have to be on the show, but if you want to come and be a part of it, you can film on the weekends or holidays or after school or, whenever it's appropriate. And that's kind of how it got started. And that was... We started filming, I think, 2006. It aired in 2007. And right now, we work for Disney. We're filming The Kardashians, and this is season 28.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, so what was the ask? Like, how did you present this to them? Like, was it, well, the cameras are only going to be here for like an hour a day, or they're going to be constantly set up, or they're going to be fixed cameras and there won't be any camera operators, so you won't really know, like, how is it, how did it start then versus how is it now? And what were the expectations as far as their role would be?
Right. Well, we all fell into it like a fish in water. It was quite extraordinary. And
so easy, comfortable.
You can't do something. Listen, I can create something and I can produce something, but you can't control other people, even though they're your kids. I mean, I have a great deal of love and respect for my children, and I'm never going to make them do something that they don't want to do. But I was in heaven because a crew shows up. We started with one crew. So it's like maybe 3 cameras, 2 cameras, and sound.
Do they come at like 7 a.m. or are they?
We started very, very early in glam at 7. But the first season, we literally were filming 7 or 8 days a week and about 18 hours a day. I'm not exaggerating. I thought, I don't know. I used to say to myself, I'd look in the mirror in the morning and go, I don't know if this is sustainable. Well, how am I going to get through the day? And then we would just keep filming. And in those days, editing, I'm probably, I don't know if this is accurate, but I'm probably one of the only women in reality television world that has editing rights to our show.
Right,
I am able to take anything out, and
that was from the very start. You
from
had
day one. I said I'm not doing this unless I. So
Right.
the key to our
and you
success,
could tell the kids, don't worry about it. You just let it all fly because
let it
at
all
the end
hang
of the
out.
day,
Yeah.
Right. It's and what's interesting about that is over the years from day one, when we knew we had that freedom and that kind of power, so to speak, it made us more comfortable.
Yeah.
It made us be the way we always are and how we're bonded together as a family because we're very close to each other. And we were able to say things that were, very intimate or, only our family knew or whatever it was.
Sure. But
things started to, develop in a way that I was thinking to myself, oh my goodness, this is really crazy. And knowing that we could take it out, and we never did. We would have a meeting and we would say, the FBI showed up today, or Kylie ended up in episode 1, season 1 is a 9-year-old child on a stripper pole. And I had and I'm looking at the footage going, how did this happen? How did this happen? I left Kim and
did it happen?
Robin
Where-
Anton in a room for 5 minutes and Kylie's on a stripper pole. So it was really insane. Anyway, it turns out that the things that I would remove or take out ended up to be, oh my God, the back of my hair looks crazy.
Yeah.
Take that out.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
I look so fat.
keeps you human.
Or can somebody fix my lipstick? Like what?
Yeah.
So that's I was so vain
Right.
in like I'd never really been on. I had been on TV and I had done QVC and I had done things with Bruce Jenner and all this stuff, but I'd never been on a television show
At home.
that was unscripted like that. It was a very vulnerable feeling.
I wanted to ask about that. So that starts to happen. So so the vulnerability I can only imagine because we know what it's like a little bit. We talked about it earlier about stuff happens and then people out in the world have a right to comment on it, especially now in real time and stuff just
Right.
To go through that experience, especially early on when it was like early social media days when you guys started. It was really early. I mean, and to have people commenting on your life, on your parenting, like you say, with the stripper pole,
Have
or
opinions,
other thing,
yeah.
and your kids growing up,
Right.
and people have opinions in real time. There's nobody bigger than you guys. At a certain point, you guys rocket to fame, and everybody in the world has an opinion on you and your family and your kids and blah, blah, blah. How did you kind of meet that and ride with that over the years? As you say, you just finished season 28. You've obviously found a place and a way to accommodate that. But
Right.
what was that like? What was that learning curve like to deal with that?
You know what? I think it was one day at a time. It was leaning on each other. It was learning from one another. It was understanding that it takes an entire village to do what we do. And then it was all these realizations over the years that occurred to us. And first of all, we had to have really thick skin. And I said to my kids very early on, because they were a lot younger. I mean, when I started the show, I had no grandchildren. Now I have 13. I mean, like life
Unbelievable.
changes so fast.
That's amazing.
So I said to my children, because they
that's
were young
crazy.
enough for me to tell them what to do still, and I do tell them what to do every single day, but sometimes they don't listen. So I told them, nobody's going on the internet. Nobody's engaging in the bullshit. No, and that was after the first episode. And, I had even close friends that I trusted that would have one eyebrow up going, really? The stripper pole? Not knowing that Oprah just had the stripper pole, on an episode of her show because it was the new exercise, the
Sure.
craziness that everybody
Right.
was doing this. And, Robin Anton had come over to show Kim how to use it because Kim had bought me one for Mother's Day and to do my exercise, and Kylie ends up on it. But, it was just, they wanted to edit it a certain way. And it wasn't really edited. It was just like people took it a certain way.
Sure,
Right.
sure.
And I just said, let it fly. We know what happened. Like, who cares?
Yeah, I was going to say, I would imagine that a lot of this stuff, the element of the world now having access inside the serenity of somebody's home, I can imagine would only make you guys closer in that you guys are the only ones that know the real story, who we
Right.
really are, what we really
yeah.
feel, juxtaposed to this outside opinion multiplied by millions. I guess you were kind of forced to quickly say, well, that's their kind of idea, their opinion, their narrative versus what the real thing is, almost makes you guys even more solid and intimate and a unit. Yes?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think we felt really close. We felt like we could always help each other out. I remember, when we first started the show, for example, there was no Instagram. There was no Snapchat.
Right.
There was barely Twitter.
Right.
And Ryan Seacrest called me up one day and he goes, you might want to tell Kim about this little thing called Twitter. I'm not really sure what it is. And I'm like, Twitter? What is Twitter? And so Kim, you got to get on Twitter. And, we just helped each other learn and grow. And it takes a village to do what we're doing. And then on top of all of it, the years went by and we realized how many thousands of people we employ, who the network employs, the people that benefit and we've had people that work for us for years write to us, write notes to us and say, and hand them to us and say, thank you for changing my life. Thank you for giving me purpose. Thank you for giving me a job. Thank you for, so you start with the smallest things, the assistants, the glam teams, the people who are getting us from one point to another, all the fashion side of it, it's just tens, thousands and thousands of people. And then as time went on and, we started making money and we were able to give back to things that meant a lot to us and help people that were less fortunate. And, that felt good. And, so it's been an evolution of our whole process.
Yeah, and even specifically what the social media has done. It wasn't around when you started. Now, of course, it's around. But the way in which you guys are such a presence there as well, and talk to us a bit about how that's. I think, help me, educate me. It is one of the major engines to some of the stuff that you guys do, sort of your brand positioning and leveraging one and being spokesmen for other things. It all sort of exists almost entirely on some of it on this platform versus linear TV and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah,
it's how the business has evolved for many businesses around the world, having this example that started actually when Kim got on Twitter, that example I gave you when she first learned about it. And I remember she was the first one who really educated us about, meaning my family and I, about how she could communicate with the audience and be a part of the Twitter universe by engaging in these conversations. And she genuinely loved it. I remember the first time, and I think she was the first one to do this, she sent a tweet to her fans and to all the viewers of our show and just out there in the world. And she said, I'm going to launch this fragrance. And here are the two, packaging options, the bottles. Do you guys like this choice or this choice? The pink or the black or whatever it was. And the response was overwhelming. Yeah. And I knew that she was so smart and so, not that it was, she wasn't in any way being manipulative. She was being genuinely wanting her own focus group. Yeah. She was able to, put together this group of people that no one would have had access to in the entire world except for her. And as her numbers grew, her audience grew, our audience grew, and then one by one as different social media platforms emerged and were developed, and as all of my, me and my children all became very active on all these social media platforms, and the numbers grew, and it just snowballed. And I think, if you added up all the numbers and you added up all the kids and all the platforms, there's a couple, and our global network with Disney, and our shows in over 200 countries and on every single day. Yeah. And Disney just bought the rights to Keeping Up with the Kardashians. They just bought all the archive.
Yeah.
So, there's billions of people daily who are...
Not only that, you said that thousands of people you employed. If you think about it, you launched an entire industry in that you guys were the first people to understand the power of, as you pointed out that example with Kim, of using social media and creating that, and Jason says sort of establishing the brand and putting that out there. All these people in the world who now make a living doing that.
Right.
They all have really, in effect, you guys to thank.
Well, it's also now, it's the major engine for many of the mainstream traditional legacy companies.
Corporations all took it from you guys. Everybody.
Yeah, airlines to media companies to oil companies, like everybody wants to figure out how to harness the power of that direct one-to-one connection to your customer, and it's about reach. It's about connecting with the people that are actually engaged with your product. You guys have this enormous power and influence in that space. I would imagine, and you don't have to answer this, but I would imagine that you're constantly being courted, solicited by any number of companies to help them understand how they can reach more of their customers, stay engaged with them, amplify what it is that they
Chris,
do.
wait till you see Jason's hair thing that he just did for Jen, for Aniston. It's amazing.
We're, listen, everyone's trying.
That's right, babe.
We'll be right back.
And back to the show.
I would bet you can be you could probably spend all your time just trying to educate people on how to best integrate,
utilize their social media. Well, it's like when Kylie launched her lip kit in all those 10 years ago. It was insane because I went to her about, I don't know, a month before the launch, knowing that she was going to create this thing. She goes, Mom, I know what I want to do for the rest of my life, and it's beauty, and I want to, do this lip kit, and now you've got to take this and run with it and figure out how to make it. And so I contacted some people I knew that could do this. They made it. And I said, so what are we doing about the marketing? Like, we need an ad in People magazine, and we need to have a billboard, and, She goes, are we okay, Mom? Like, I know what I'm doing. Just relax. And I said, I can't relax. You just spent every dime you've ever made on Keeping Up with the Kardashians to start your own brand by yourself with your own money.
Wow.
And I'm a little nervous. Mom's a little, you're 17 years old. So what are you doing? And she said, I know what I'm doing. And so I'll never forget the morning she launched her brand, which was the first time she disrupted an entire beauty business because she pressed send on the link to go buy this and put a post out, go buy my lip kit. And I think it was 4 seconds. And we thought the site crashed because we had to launch, and it was just sold out in seconds.
Wow.
And then we knew, and she developed, that was her, and then it was on. She was the first one to do that.
Chris, we need to have a meeting with you offline. We need to have an hour meeting with you.
Okay, guys, come on over. I'm in Chloe's podcast room. She'll never know.
So much to learn.
So when you say one of the first, do you mean about how sort of the brick and mortar sort of model
Yeah, I think how to sell a beauty brand online like that had never been done, or any brand. Well, and also I think Kim was probably the first to ever sell a fragrance. Think about this.
Yeah.
Millions of fragrances online without ever smelling it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Is that not crazy? Yeah, I'll take that fragrance. And you're trusting that you want to smell like Kim. Meanwhile, it's still, the first fragrance is still the fragrance that I wear.
Really?
Every day. And every day somebody goes, oh, what is that? You smell so good. So I'm so proud of
that's great.
that moment for her.
Yeah. How was the smelling sessions for that as you guys were developing that? Sniffing a bunch of stuff and narrowing down what the scent would be?
Kim and I went to a fragrance company in New York a few times. And by the way, this whole journey, everything I'm telling you, all the stories, I could go on for days, is all on film for Keeping Up with the Kardashians and now the Kardashians. And that I'm so grateful for because I have the best home movies in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have all these beautiful, I remember we filmed the birth of Mason.
Good God.
And I'm like, we filmed that? Like I sit and go, we filmed that? But we did.
I always think that's wild because my sister just sent me an audio clip that she found when she was 12 years old. And it's really scratchy and you can barely hear it. You can tell it's her, which is so different than how kids grow up now. They have everything. They have home movies every day. because of social media. Where
And it's
the
high
four
quality.
of us,
It looks like yesterday.
yeah, it looks like yesterday. So it's a weird thing about how memories now are stored in our brains. Different. The kids now store it differently than the four of us do because we didn't have that. It's not archived as a kid. We didn't have any archives.
Right.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Capricorn.
Off topic. Okay, good. So do any of you ever go back and really look at the photos
Yeah, I do.
that you have a million of in your phone? You do?
Yeah, mostly of my
Okay.
kids.
Oh no,
Yeah,
not
I mean,
my phone.
No, not on the
I look
phone.
at when I was a kid, like the actual hard copy photo that was taken.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what I do? Every year, at the end of the year, before January 1st, I edit all my photos in my phone. So you know how you take 75 photos of one thing,
Yeah.
edit, get it to where those photos on your phone are what you love.
Right.
And there's probably 3,000 or
My
whatever there
God,
is.
that's a big job.
I have them taken to a very trusted printer that I've been using since the early 90s, literally. And they print them out, and I put them in an archival photo box, and they're in my archive, and I have a hard copy of every single
That's
photo
cool.
that I've ever taken.
That's really
Because
cool.
I'm probably the only one in my family who will do that, so that, many, many moons from now, they can look back and go, I remember this. Like, going through the photos is such a thing for me, and how I have memories of my family, my grandmother, and so
Yeah.
It's more
I think
tactile.
everybody should go copy their phone once a year.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
archive it in a box. I think I get them at like the Container Store or something.
Yeah.
But there's archival boxes. You can get them on Amazon, and they protect the photo. But for everyone who has kids, it's so special.
Yeah, it is.
That's my tip for the day.
You should have a party and just go through each page one by one, right? And just do like a 4-day party of just like each page.
Or
of
turn on Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Yeah, or,
Yeah,
or,
or
just
do that.
Or just
Yeah.
Well, Kris, with all of your incredible business success, I bet you're most proud of what seems to be an incredible ability to be both a manager and a mother to not one but 6 of your children, and wear both of those hats in a way, because my parents were my manager as well when I was growing up, and I remember it was a tricky, challenging thing for both them and me to manage
Navigate,
together,
yeah.
and try to keep both of those sides of our lives pristine and honored, and where one is sort of like a peer relationship and the other one is that sort of traditional deferential relationship where the kid looks up to the parent and completely listens to and defers to and follows behind, kind of thing. So they're not at odds with one another, but there's a few areas of overlap, but they are different. And so
Yeah,
your ability to
lot
do
different.
that, it seems, has been incredibly successful, because all your kids, from what I can see, just seem incredibly well grounded and kind. And so can you talk a little bit about that?
I think, first of all, my most important role is mom. So I recognize that, and that's the most important thing in my life. And I feel like God has put me here at this point in my life to make sure they're okay. And I think every parent's dream is for your child to identify what they want to do in their life and go out there and find how their dream can come true, help them get there, set them off and set them up, and good to go. Like, that's when I think about my kids and I go down the line and go, okay, today, this one's okay, I got to do but in general, to have your kids at a really good, happy place, whether they want to be a housewife and a mom, whether they want to be an athlete, whatever their dream is, if they're happy. And the most important thing for me is, I always say, God first, family second, everything else is third. And I've always raised my children like that. And I've always raised my kids to be, all that matters to me is that they have good hearts. They have integrity, great integrity. They would help people that in need, that need them, and they're kind.
Yeah.
Be on time, be kind, be gentle with people. You never know what kind of a day they've been having. But stick up for yourself and be strong when you need to be strong, and all the things, all the things. And it means the most to me when I hear other people's experiences with my kids. And daily, if I show up to something and someone's been there before me, like let's say I was on this podcast and maybe one of my kids had done it, or somebody came up to me Saturday night at a dinner and said, I have the store in over here where we were, and your children come in there from time to time, and I've never met more kind, gentle people in my life. They're the nicest people I've ever met. Every time I hear that, my heart just swells. I'm so happy because that's all that matters.
Yeah, you know what, Kris? It's funny you say that. So I was going to say, and you guys will relate to this, is there's no greater feeling than when somebody says to you, hey, I just ran into your kids. Your kids are great. Your kids are so nice. It feels so good. You never get tired of hearing that when somebody compliments your kid on their character, ever. And I will say this, I don't know your kids. But I have heard, and this is anecdotal, but I have heard time and time again over the years what nice people your kids are. I'm not making this up. I have heard that so many times.
That makes me so happy.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've had a couple bad encounters. I'm just going to be honest.
That's different, Sean. That's different, Sean, though. I mean, you're so confrontational.
Sean, we can't hear you anymore. Sorry, babe. Yep. I think your mic went out.
No, lovely. I too have met them, and they're just so genuine.
They love you.
I love them. I love you. I had that great time.
I
at
know.
That. Yes,
I know.
Okay. Sure. Well, how much fun?
Our secret date.
I'm going to text you right after this. Okay.
Wait, text me. Do I still? You guys?
I have your number.
Do I still have?
I would imagine that, I mean, your days, my God, I can't imagine how full your days are. With all the business stuff, all the parenting stuff, you'd have to delegate a great deal, and I'm sure you've got incredible people around you. But what is the thing that you simply cannot delegate, will not delegate?
Well, let's put it this way. At the end of the day, especially lately, the year started off like, whoa, like if you were on a treadmill at like level 62.
Yeah.
I get at the end of the day decision fatigue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you can imagine. Like I start off so early, like at 5 a.m. I let people have access to me at that hour, meaning I alert people, hey, we're rolling. I'll call an attorney, I'll text an attorney, a business manager, somebody in Europe, somebody in New York, like, okay, we're ready to go. And it never ends. So I think that, just being able to juggle, I feel like sometimes, some days are like that guy in the circus where he's got the plates in the air and you just keep taking the stick and spinning them all, just making sure they're all spinning. Right. Some days, if they're like that, that's a chill day.
Right.
But if it's really buckling down, putting out fires, I mean, most days I'm a fireman. So putting out fires, making sure everybody's okay. And then like this morning, I got a 6 a.m. call from Kylie, and she just wanted to, go through something personal that she was like wanting an opinion on.
Yeah.
So stop the momager hat, roll into, okay. And I just got my coffee again and sat down and listened to the whole thing, gave my opinion. We were good to go. She goes, okay. It's going to be okay, Mommy. It's going to be great. Okay, we're good. And so everybody needs, that emotional check-in every day. And we all just I get a million times a day from Chloe. I love you, Mom. Mom, you're the best. And my kids are so, Kim and I, for the last 2 days, texting, all day from London and then Paris because she's at the Skims opening in those two cities.
Yeah.
And then, so there's always business to talk about and then an influx of photos from the event that they're at or, all of it, all of it. And it's been great. It's a great journey.
What kind of crisis would it be if you woke up one day and you forgot to plug your phone in overnight?
Oh, that would be bad.
right? And you didn't.
That would be
But I
bad.
would imagine even waking up
Yeah.
with a full charge, you're charging that phone around 4 o'clock every day anyway,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my God.
For sure. For sure. Especially if you have like a little Zoom in between.
Yeah.
Like that's a little bit of a drainer. But it's, you just, you have to be prepared and ready for everything, I guess. I think I'm great at multitasking.
Yeah.
And I'm great at, I think I have, emotionally, I'm pretty strong. I cry on a dime. I'll
Right.
cry at a commercial.
Yeah, me too.
Or, or if I think about something really sad,
Yeah.
I get all welly. So I try to stay out of that danger zone. I
Yeah.
try to, we don't need any tears today. But I think I'm a very emotional person, but I think I have good, emotional intelligence.
You don't have to
Mhm,
say
yeah.
who, but I would ask: is there somebody in your life, or probably a few, maybe that you can dump all this stuff on, and you don't have to be
Yeah, it's
the
me.
person who
She
figures
calls me
everything out?
constantly. And I'm like,
I'm sorry, Sean. Sean carries a weight around my family.
it's the Kris
insane.
Jenner way. But you know what? I love it.
Yeah, you do. You're good at it too. You're very strong. Strong
What
guy.
do you what do people think you control that you absolutely do not?
A Skims discount?
Yeah.
People wanting to get a little break because they know you.
A Skims discount.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But wait, Jason's previous question was good. Of course, you don't have to say names, but who is that? Who's that person that you get to lean on at the end of the day? Is it your kids? Is it?
You know what? I'll tell you something. It depends on the subject and what's going on. I do have a selection. One of my best friends, Shelly Azoff, we'll talk about the craziest stuff and we just get each other.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to talk to her for 2 weeks. She's not that person who's needy and, needs me to, emotionally check in with her all the time. And then my cousin Cece, but, and then Corey, my partner, of course, my boyfriend, he's amazing. He's probably thinking, this is why. Sometimes I want to just go in his brain and, wonder, he's probably thinking, what did I get into? But he loves us all so much and is so great. So he, obviously the person that you live with is the person that probably hears and gets the brunt of it through and through. But who's so amazing and supportive are my kids, and each one for a different reason. Like if there's real drama with somebody, I'll tell you the times. I don't know how Chloe carries it. Chloe, you guys you haven't had Chloe on yet, right?
No. Love
Chloe
to.
is such a great guest.
Yeah.
But Chloe is a saint. She's an angel.
Yeah.
She not only is like the Pied Piper with all the kids, and she's the one who every single weekend has the sleepover and is making Taco Tuesdays for all the kids and having Bible study on Thursday nights for the kids at her house. And I mean, she's like all the cousins are, she's the Pied Piper. She's the cutest thing ever. But she's also got such amazing, intense emotional support to offer if you're going through something. And she's so intelligent about stuff. It's really great. And so's Kim. And all of them. I mean, I was talking to Kylie, like I said this morning, about something else, but they're all so, Kendall's like my therapist. And if I want to talk about anything in the environment, Courtney's my go-to, and she'll come over and throw all my pots and pans away. So, we're all so connected.
Yeah, but so when the house thinned out, because I'm dealing with this now. One just went off to college, and my youngest, I've got another few years, but I'm already just like dreading being an empty nester. I'm just going to miss them so much. As your house started to thin out, and now it's just you and Corey, right?
Right. Well, okay. So the part that maybe you're missing, is I live in a gated community, and we all live down the street from each other.
Right.
Okay. So it's never. So
Chloe lives next door. She lives 50 feet away.
Sure.
Right.
So it doesn't get any closer than that without
Perfection.
being in the same bedroom.
Right.
Great. That's great.
And then I'll come home and, Kendall's the only one who lives a little bit further, but everyone, we all live in the same area.
great.
We're all at each other's houses, and I'll call Kim's house at least 3 times a week. Do you guys have any food over there? I'm starving.
I don't buy it.
And then somebody runs over to get it. And it's like, it's very
I can
convenient.
only imagine that
great.
the holidays are just like this, just like an idyllic,
So fun.
just all those, would you say 13 grandkids running around?
It's our Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's
so
like,
good.
it's delicious. And one of the kids has Christmas Eve. We usually do a big Christmas Eve party. And then I do Christmas morning. That's my tradition. And we have so many amazing traditions in our family. We celebrate, Groundhog's Day. We celebrate everything.
Really?
We can't wait to do a party. We can't wait to celebrate somebody's special occasion or event, or, the kids graduating from kindergarten, or, it makes life really
Yeah,
special.
you keeping up on all that stuff will be a full-time job for me as it is right there.
Well, she's keeping up with the Kardashians.
Yeah, there you
when
go.
when you say when you say your kids are, like an empty nest thing, and your kids are getting older, and it happens so fast. And, I think that it's just really important to remember that that they're not far away, and just create these memories and moments as much as you can to stay connected. Because people ask me a lot, how do you raise a family? You guys are all so close, genuinely close. And, I often say it's not something that you can really teach. It's something that you just have to feel and do.
Yeah. I got to tell you, we've done, how many of these have we done, you guys? A couple hundred?
We've done like 300.
This is the first time, no joke, that I've looked at the clock and been shocked that we are at an hour 15.
I know.
I thought
Really?
we were like an
Yeah.
hour. I thought we were like 40 minutes. First of all, I'm sorry that we're 15 minutes over.
It's fine. Chloe's. I'm going to have a meeting with her, and we're filming our show, and she's probably going to walk into her studio and go, "What the hell are you doing here?"
Before we let you go, excuse me, I want to talk about All's Fair just for one quick sec or a
Yes.
long sec if you want. The show on Hulu, executive producing on, so now this is scripted, yes,
Yes.
and
Ryan Murphy's producing, writing, directing.
This, do you prefer the scripted stuff? Do you want to mix it all in? Do you want to go, how much? Tell us about the ratio between scripted and unscripted going forward for you guys.
So doing an unscripted show is truly unscripted for us. We have
Right.
no scripts. I don't even know half the time, I'm being perfectly honest, what we're going to film that day. I'll know on my schedule, amongst all the other things I'm doing that day, it'll be glam, Kardashians is filming, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I don't know what's happening. I think, I knew my crew was going to be here today because I do know that we're going to film something later, and I'm working with Chloe, and I think Kylie's probably here. But I'm really not sure some days, like what we're eating, but it always works out, and it's
Right.
always magic. So that's that side of it. I don't think, honestly, I could do more than one of those types of shows, because it's not something that I want to manufacture what's
Yeah.
going on. And at that point, what else is there to talk? So it would have to be scripted.
Right.
So when Ryan Murphy came over for dinner one night, and I said to Kim, "Come by," because as I said, we all live down the street from each other. I said, "Come over. Ryan Murphy's going to come over. I'm so obsessed with him, and we love what he does and all of that." So he came over, and I remember we had a conversation, and I said, he said, "Why don't you, to Kim, maybe we could work together." And I said, "Ryan, maybe write a show for her. Why don't you write something?
Right.
And we'll do something really exciting." In the meantime, he put her in American Horror Story,
Right.
which she did a
Right.
great job.
Right.
And
Yeah.
she's not a trained actress. She did phenomenal. And she got, she was happy with it. She loved the process, which I thought was a little concerning to me, because there's a lot of waiting around.
Yeah.
There's a lot of structure. It's much, much different than, bring the camera over. I'll shoot it on my iPhone. I'm doing a reality show. It's much, obviously, you guys know that better than you're 3 actors. We're not actors by trade.
Right.
And so when she did it, she loved the process. And then I've suddenly got a call from Ryan, and he said, I have something for you. And I said, hold up, come over, let me get my crew. So he came over to the house. We had a martini. He presented this idea for Kim for All's Fair. And we loved the idea. Kim signed on. They talked about who would be her co-stars. And let me tell you something. These women were so generous and kind and amazing to her and really wrapped their arms around her. And Ryan Murphy surrounded her with the most incredible group of women, and we had the time of our lives. She suddenly had a renewed spirit. She was making friends with people she would never, have these relationships with. And I saw her beaming, and really enjoying what she was doing.
Oh,
and now it got picked up for season 2.
Great.
Amazing.
And it's been, Sarah Paulson and Glenn
She's the
Close and
greatest,
Tiana Taylor and
Naomi
Watts and Niecy Nash and Kim
Some
and this
great,
beautiful
great
cast.
women.
All-star cast. Yeah.
And the fashion that they all loved. And they just all loved hanging out with Kim. She loved hanging out with them. And I saw this genuine friendship evolve and develop over time. And it's been really, really amazing for me to get to witness that for my daughter. I'm so
that's awesome.
proud of her.
That's great. Yeah. Really, really great.
Yeah. And they're going into season 2, and that's a big deal. And they start next month. So I'm really excited. And now Kim is filming her not her first movie, but a big movie that's a comedy.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really, really good. It's called Fifth Wheel.
Very nice.
So,
That's great.
Well, I'm glad
Yeah.
things are finally working out for you guys, and you're starting to get a little wind at your backs.
Yeah.
We're just trying, man.
It's just
Every
awesome.
day it's a grind.
It's Kris. It really is incredible. I'm so thankful that you came on and you spent more than an hour with us, telling us how you've done it all and how you continue to do it all. And we're rooting for you, and we'll be watching all the next years going forward with this incredible story. Truly,
I appreciate you guys so much, and
Likewise.
thank you for being so lovely and supportive. And I'm just grateful to be a part of this, life and the entertainment community, and to be able to add a little something. And I come from a place of incredible gratitude. So for everybody that watches our show or has given us any kind of support or kindness, or watching from afar, it means the world. And, I think that, it's great to be and come from a place of gratitude and just be kind to each other.
yeah.
That's
Well,
all.
the audience is certainly
Love
grateful
one
for
another.
what
Yes.
you've done.
Yeah.
Well, we
Sure.
love you.
Loving
We
it.
love you.
Yeah.
Love you
Thank
guys
thank you,
so
thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Enjoy the
much
rest
for
of your
coming.
day. Truly.
Yes.
And
Enjoy.
Jason, I
Yes.
can't wait for our next vacation with Amanda.
Yeah. Us too.
Okay.
You
Okay, we'll
guys
plan
figure
it.
it out.
Okay, good.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thanks,
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Kris.
Bye, honey.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Wow. Yeah. That
Powerhouse.
was.
Powerhouse.
Powerhouse is
honestly,
right.
I did not realize the time. I could
know.
have listened to her explain it all.
I know.
For even longer.
She's so well spoken and succinct, and
it's
like,
so much
amazing
more
what
to that
she's
story
created.
too, right?
Yeah.
God dang it.
and when I feel like lazy or something, like look at her, man.
I know.
Like what?
Her
got 80,000
days,
things going on.
she's starting at 5 a.m. and probably goes till 10 at night on something that you just can't phone in,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
she's got the switch has got to be flicked on, and she is just running shit. I mean, if I have like 2 things in my day that I've got to like focus on, I'm like, oh, damn it. Like, when can I put my PJs back on?
I know.
If it's after 4 o'clock, it's
Forget
just,
it.
Good.
oh.
I know.
I'm
I know.
kidding. These are jokes.
But yeah, I love the entrepreneurship and the philanthropy, and she's just a cool hang.
Yeah.
I like her.
Yeah.
And she's so unique.
Uh-oh.
She's so unique, and she's so different.
It's the look
It's
on the
really like
face.
one in a million. She's like a human being that's that's
Really hard
not.
to-
It's not easy to come
Bye.
by.
Rest of the sentence.
Come by. It's not easy to come by.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, someone like her is not easy to come by.
Yeah. There you go.
Smart. Less. Smart. Less.
SmartLess is 100% organic and artisanally handcrafted by Rob Armjarv, Bennett Barbaco, and Michael Grant-Terry.
Smart. Less.